Okay, excellent. So thank you everyone for joining us today. This is Cesar Trabanco from the Global Chamber, and this is our League of Extraordinaries. We have new people here like Ash and Adrian. They're new to the format, and so I'm gonna explain a little bit. Although I did by email as well. So basically, this is a meeting only for members of the Global Chamber. It's more like a roundtable meeting where everyone has the chance to introduce themselves, tell us what their business are doing, but mainly what type of connections you want to make within the Global Chamber. And so I'll be taking notes. Those notes are cross-checked with Doug, and we'll be creating some introductions based of the notes. And I invite everyone to add their contact details in the chat box.
Mm.
That way we can all connect on LinkedIn and take it further. So um, I see a small group so far. Normally we get some people joining late, so let's see. But let's have 3 to 4 minutes each for a quick pitch, and then if anyone has a question, we can allow a couple of them. So I will let you start with Louis Lau. I haven't heard from Louis in a while from G-Chain Corporation in Malaysia. So Louis, give us your 3 4 minutes pitch and let us know how we can help you. You're on mute, Louis.
Sorry. Yeah, thanks.
There you go.
I'm Louis. I'm the CEO of Jushan Corporation, which is a contract manufacturing company based in Malaysia. We've got we're primarily focused on injection molding in plastics, in rubber, and sheet metal, metal stampings. And what we do is we help customers build their products. So our ideal clients are customers in medical device manufacturing, or consumer electronics. You can be product owners. We've got quite a number of clients from LA, from Silicon Valley. Yeah, so what we do is we help a lot of, especially the last couple of years, we help a lot of American companies reshore their manufacturing from China to Malaysia. Or some customers, they are trying to move their manufacturing back into their home country, but do not want to do all the processes themselves. They outsource some to us. So basically that's what that has been keeping us busy over the last couple of years. Obviously now the global economy is slow. We see a significant decline in a lot of our existing customers' demand, and we have capacity for more customers, and that's what we are doing to fill up our capacity for the near future. So more than happy to connect with anybody who needs product produce. We generally can produce anything that is plastic, rubber, or metal based. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Any question from anyone in the room? And if not, Louis, one question: are you working because Mexico is playing a role, and we probably can jump to Elizabeth after your turn, but Mexico is playing a role in the reshoring or nearshoring. Are you working directly with Mexico as well in all this process, or do you have some companies that are moving to Mexico but they want to keep something in Asia and they go to you, or how has been Mexico in general be part of the whole reshoring?
Yeah, we've got customers who move some of their supply chain to Mexico, and we do ship certain parts to Mexico. The trend started, I think, about 2 to 3 years ago when people were seriously looking at it. I think the growth story in Mexico will be amazing because that's the closest to the US, and basically, I think in terms of the labor cost and the total cost of manufacture, it becomes quite cheap when you consider the logistic cost. So yeah, I agree. Mexico has been a very big topic in recent years.
Perfect. So thanks again, Luis. Make sure you leave your contact details
Yeah, sure.
in the
Thanks.
chat and stick around to hear from the others. So let's move to Elizabeth Glynn. Elizabeth is a member in LA. It's part of the advisory board there, and she works closely with Mexico and helping manufacturers to export. So Elizabeth, welcome. Explain us a little bit more about what you're doing.
Thank you, Cesar, and it's good to be here today. And welcome everyone, wherever you're located. I am Elizabeth Glynn. My company is EMG Global Business Solutions. As Cesar mentioned, I am a consultant. My focus for the past 10, 15 years has been working with US manufacturers to get them positioned so they can build out their business, because as you are all aware, the US represents, only 5% of the world's population. So there's tremendous demand for products. Also, the Made in USA label is highly regarded. That said, it's our companies. I can speak for California. I have been working with manufacturers in Southern California, and we have an estimated 20,000 manufacturers in the state of California. But they estimate that a lot of the business is being pulled by the foreign buyer because they find the products, the needs, the machinery, the capabilities, and then they're pulling it out. So what I can help them. I do come from a global transportation background. I actually got recruited by one of my companies, and I will share with you. I've worked with a two owner company and a $4 billion defense unit. And I always tell our manufacturers, it has nothing to do with how big or how much money that they have. It's how they played the game. This small company that recruited me, in 2 years, we literally just shy of tripled their business. That's why I'm such a proponent of helping our companies to export. And then that said, I have been working with them to expand into Mexico because, of course, Southern California, we sit on the border with Baja California, which represents a significant industrial sector: medical device, aerospace, automotive, and electronics, just on the top. So there's huge opportunity there. And then Mexico has been the beneficiary of a lot of direct or foreign direct investment. And they're the automotive, medical device, electronics, and aerospace. There again, it works on industry sectors. There is, for example, Tesla is building a factory in Mexico, and they're looking to have it opened by first quarter 2024. And they've reached out to suppliers. They're looking for suppliers to support them as when they roll out the expansion. So that there's a lot of opportunity there. And of course, for US companies, it's beneficial because, as Luis mentioned, labor is very competitive. We have the manufacturing capability. The skills have been enhanced. And then, of course, because of the USMCA, the US-Mexico Canada trade agreement, of course, duty is reduced. Transportation is much easier because you're talking hours versus days or weeks, bringing goods in from Asia, and the duty is reduced. So that's an opportunity. And if you see behind me, I'm part of a team that has this iTrade Digital. This is a platform that allows the buyers and sellers to negotiate their import-export documents paperlessly. And we're in the beta process right now. We're looking to bring in companies. It's extremely knowledgeable, it's extremely economical, but more importantly, it works. So it will allow companies to sidestep using letters of credit. And what's cool is it we're the only ones right now that has a platform that actually functions. So that's pretty exciting. So with that, thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Can you add the information about the iTrade in the chat, please?
I will. Thank you.
Any question for Elizabeth?
I was going to
And-
say, if Elizabeth, if any of your manufacturers, I mean, I appreciate what you're saying about where they're moving to this iTrade platform and doing away with letters of credit, but if any of them would welcome either accounts receivable financing in some fashion for their overseas trade to grow their export trade, or even if they're working through dealers and distributors in certain countries abroad, I can help out from that end by bringing a inventory financing program to the dealer and distributor that would allow them to build up inventory and pay quarterly over 21 months for that buildup of that inventory. So that allows the dealer and distributor to do a lot within that period of time, rent, sell, whatever. And the beauty of it is they won't need any liens or mortgages or lengthy loan agreements to go into to do that. So we might do well to have a conversation on this, as I am one of the core areas. And I can say that later on in my bit, and that one of my core areas is international trade financing.
Yes,
and other areas.
And this platform, thank you for bringing that up, because this platform will support. There's actually, as we come across resources for foreign credit insurance, or actually there's the FSP, the financial services provider, we will actually add them to as a resource base. And if that can facilitate it, that's huge. So I will put the web link in the chat, and also my contact information. And if you have about 15-20 minutes, John Denlip and I are happy to walk you through it.
Okay, well, like I said, maybe we can set up a post meeting discussion on that in the coming near term days.
Thank you, Doug.
Elizabeth, which regions around the world are most of your clients looking at exporting into?
Well, right now we are we actually have interest from South Africa, and there's a doctor here he's originally from Ghana. He's based out of Phoenix, and he's in the process of setting up an operation in Ghana. For Africa, it could be huge. It could be huge. And the whole idea is to help small and medium-sized enterprises to facilitate the ability to do trade. So that's that. And we also have somebody who's doing, for example, importing pillowcases from China to here, Portugal and Denmark. So we're just starting, but and I actually think that it's going to take off globally long before it takes off in the US, just because the demand is. We have a colleague who is originally from the Philippines, and the Filipino export entity is keenly interested.
Okay, interesting, because I spent 20 years as an expat in Asia, running sales teams across about 14 countries. So if any of your clients just want to have a chat and just discuss things they need to be aware of and maybe how to put some plans together, happy to have a chat.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
And Elizabeth, are you connected to our chapter in Ghana?
No, I'm not. But we are in direct contact with an entity called Westgrow. And actually, as of last week, USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development based in Africa, it's interested, okay, for South Africa, but also regionally.
Cool. I made a note to connect you to a couple of people in Ghana. We have a good group there.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Cool. Sure.
Hi,
No, Lee,
Hi.
go ahead.
Hi, Elizabeth. Thanks for the rundown on the situation in the US, and it's very interesting to hear how strong Mexico has been supporting the manufacturing sector in the US. I'm more than happy to talk about how us in Malaysia can help support some of your clients, especially those that are currently manufacturing in China. And it could be a supply chain a diversification, either away from China, or we can help move operations out of China into Malaysia, or even be the China plus one, or be the Asia supply base for your clients. I'm more than happy to discuss further.
Okay. What you'll find is that in the US, we're a little bit slower to expand globally, where those of you, around the world, what the potential is. And it's critical to their economies. Just think, if we could get our companies just to kick up 5 to 10%, that would be huge in this country. But it's not easy.
Yeah, I find a lot of potential clients, they take a while to warm up, but when the decision is made, they want it yesterday.
Yeah, that's true.
So more than happy to talk, and I understand that difficulty in warming up, but more than happy to talk early stage and develop that rapport and make your clients feel comfortable.
Well, and this would be beneficial, especially for our US companies that are looking to expand throughout Asia. Malaysia could be a good platform for them as well, right?
Yeah.
All right, Cesar.
Okay. Excellent. So let's just move forward. Yeah, and I would like to invite Freddie Eshby. I haven't heard from Freddie in a while, so it's good to see you here. Freddie, the same. Take your 4 or 5 minutes. I see the group remains small, so I'm allowing more time for everyone to chat and go back and forth, because that's the whole purpose. So, Freddie, welcome.
Thanks. This is my first. I worked with Cesar years ago at another firm. We were purchased by a large competitor, and a few of us went out on our own. So we formed Listo Global. We're new members as Listo to Global Chamber, though we're familiar with it, but we're new members nonetheless. But global is what we do. So Listo Global, we're a global employment services and technology company, and so we say at Listo that we help you find, hire, and pay your global teams. So we have a product. We help you find and source in any country that you need, generally US-based companies, though we have a few right now that are Canadian-based and UK-based, but generally US-based companies who are wanting to expand internationally. We help you source. We help you determine how to classify those individuals, if they can be independent contractors, if they can be W-2 employees using US lexicon, but employees in that country, or if you need to set up your own entity. We also do that. So the kind of the consulting side of our business is setting that up. A lot of our clients use all of them. Start with some independent contractors, you move to employees, and then you grow a team and determine, for whatever reason, that you need to set up or want to set up your own entity in a country. And so we kind of move you through that whole process, have a platform to onboard your employees or contractors, pay them through that platform, and we continue to provide the HR and payroll services for you there. So our background is kind of a recruit to retire model. We're focused on that employment piece and kind of the recurring revenue model of that, but we have the in the periphery the consultative services. So we've worked with a lot of manufacturing companies. Generally, those types of companies are establishing themselves in those countries and hiring on a local entity. Where to speak to kind of what's been brought up, where we have had success is sometimes if you're third-party manufacturing and you have some quality, sometimes QA that you'll want to employ yourself that's kind of managing the process, or you have a few salespeople, but maybe you're manufacturing, like I said, with a third party, you may not need to or want to go set up your own entity. And that's where we've found in the manufacturing side of things, where we've still been able to be helpful there. If you're just needing to hire a few people, we can scale as big as you want, but specific to this conversation, that's where we've seen a lot of growth. We're operational in 160 countries, so we can help you expand any region, any country, and any industry, any position. We're pretty agnostic as far as that goes. So that's a little about Listo.
Freddie, are you more of a to use a US lexicon, more of a PEO, or is it more a recruitment model and you provide payroll services, but they're directly employed by your clients?
Great question. So we're what you call an employer of record, which is that is a global PEO. I think the industry is kind of changing how we call that now, because in the US we do have those PEOs, which is that co-employment. And so to separate ourselves from that model a little bit, and it really describes the relationship better. And so our core business in that employment piece is independent contractors and employer of record, and how to classify. That's been in the news quite a bit lately. How to classify those individuals in those countries, so we can hire them on our entity, our infrastructure, or set up your own, and help you determine how to do that. So yeah, we're an employer of record, for sure, global employer of record. Yeah, I probably thank you for clarifying.
Two questions. You said you're of course industry agnostic, but can you mention the top 3 industries that you're working with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for us, it's more, believe it or not, more position than industry in some respects, where we've seen a lot of growth in tech, of course. And so every company needs a developer somewhere. And so we have, let me think about kind of our last, if there's I can't think of a common thread right now. Where we're attacking right now is kind of more for us. We're based out of Salt Lake City. It's a big startup and kind of growing. They call it Silicon Slopes out here, so it's kind of a little sister to Silicon Valley. And so we're a lot of our clients are here and US based. We have some in healthcare. We have some in customer service. Those are big. Any think about, well, like say a few of our clients at ClearSource, they do customer service and call center for, big clients. And so we outsource for them and hire. We have a client called Henry Schein that they've allowed us to use their name. They're a large dental distribution company, but they have a software that's a dental practice software. And so, for instance, we just hired 50 people in Costa Rica for them, developers. And so we see it more on customer service, back office accounting and finance, sales, regional sales teams, and tech. And so I would say less industry and more kind of position specific is where we've targeted.
All right. No, that makes sense. And you answered my other question about where you're located. I didn't remember. So you're in Utah, right?
Yeah, I'm originally from Phoenix, and so we'll be involved in the Phoenix chapter and a couple of the California chapters for sure, and then also Salt Lake City. I was involved in the New York chapter before with my prior company, so got to know some folks out there. Yeah.
And quick question, you gave the example of Costa Rica. We do have some contacts like Costa Rica, Mexico, Argentina, that their companies are like offering developers. Are those good contacts for you? Like it's good for you to have those as part of your network in case you're helping a company in the US with that process?
Yes. You're saying staffing companies? Is that what you said, Cesar?
Like nearshoring companies, like they offer, yeah.
We actually have a lot of those nearshoring companies are clients of ours. We have a number of those. So they'll put all of their people on our platform, especially if they're using kind of an independent contractor model in that nearshoring staffing model. We look at it as a little bit as a sister model, because you're either going to hire them through us and our infrastructure, or you're going to hire them through that third party to manage that. So it's kind of how you want to manage that person, through a staffing agency or directly with your team. But we found a way to kind of stay in our lane and clientize, if you will, our competition. So we have a lot of those companies. They are great to have. We do work with them sometimes directly with recruiting in some of those countries. And that's just with a good partnership, because they don't necessarily want to recruit for us. They want to keep good talent. So it's more, we keep them close, but more as clients, not as, and they probably look at us more as competition.
Sure. No, I'm glad we have someone in Costa Rica. He's actually expanding in Central America, so I'm gonna make that connection to you.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, it's great.
Cool. So any other questions for Freddie? And if not, I would like to move to Annie Eloy. And Annie, I think she's been in the last 2 League of Extraordinaries, and we meet her. So Annie, are you there?
I'm here, Cesar. I apologize. I'm calling through my phone, so I can't share my video. But I'm here, and thanks for the introduction. I actually had a question for Freddie, but before I introduce myself, if that's okay. I wanted to kind of also learn for your potential clients, like you have nearshore development companies too. Do you also, does your company also work with consulting firms as well for recruiting to other businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so quite a few consulting firms as like channel partners that are helping, really, like Elizabeth, the clients have clients that are looking to expand, and different types of consultants. That's a great contact for us.
Okay, that's great. I would like to connect with you, and whether it's to LinkedIn or your email, and I would like to speak with you further, if that's fine.
Be great. Love to. I'll put my contact in the chat.
Thank you. All right, so a little bit about me. Again, apologize, I am not sharing my video. So I am the founder of Molephus LLC. Actually, Molephus is a data analytics and project management consulting group. We target small and medium-sized businesses. Overall, we are agnostic to industry. However, we do specialize in healthcare and IT. And our target audience is focused more up to businesses that make up to $25 million in revenue. We are only focused on US-based businesses. We do not work with international. And we have 3 services that are data analytics consulting, project management consulting, in addition to mentoring and coaching services for project management and data analytics. We will work with the client to help them solve their business problems through the lens of analytics. Oftentimes, small and medium-sized businesses do not have the resources, such as an analyst, or the right tools in place in order to capture their data or conduct analysis to be able to make decisions based on their performance and their own data. How they're performing current state to be able to actually make an impactful change for future state. So we would be the ones coming in to work with the client to understand what their needs are and to where they're having issues with their business, whether they have a decrease in revenue, perhaps conduct a competitive assessment to their peers, to other businesses delivering a similar service. It could be anything relative to, let's say, labor management. They have an issue with a decline in their labor productivity or a high overtime, and that's impacting their budget. So there's many issues that businesses can come across. It could also be if they, for example, a scenario, if they would like to implement a system in place which they're not actually collecting their data. And obviously, if you do not look at your data, you will not be able to know how your business is actually operating. Where are you current state? What you could do to even be better and grow your business. And that's where we come in as analysts and work with the client one-on-one to come up with those key performance indicators, help them with capturing their data. We do not provide data. Everything is for the client. We work for the client. We capture their own data information to help them solve their problems, to help them introduce more business intelligence tools, and also educate them to upscale on their data literacy skills. As more technology is evolving, a lot of these small, medium-sized businesses are kind of left behind of adapting to analytics and technology into their business. From project management standpoint, we actually would be working with the client at site or virtually, primarily helping them execute a project successfully from start to finish, and going through all the steps, whether they want to implement the waterfall or agile methodology into the project that they're trying to launch, or in general in their organization or business. And lastly, the mentoring and coaching services is, let's say you have a group of team of technicians or coordinators, and maybe you want to simply maybe teach them how to use Excel, or even be complex of implementing a business intelligence tool, could be Power BI or Qlik, and helping them actually kind of enhance their technical skills to be able to do all that analysis and draw those actionable insights and deliver those results in-house. So we also have mentoring and coaching services for that, whether it's a group of individuals or just one-on-one. Both options are available. We do not have a set curriculum. All our curriculums are actually customized per the client's needs, if based on what would you like or your skills to be more enhanced on, which is great because we actually carve out the subjects and topics and exercises that are best fit for you. And we work with you depending on your schedule. If you're a working professional, we would actually be considerate of the flexibility in terms of time or when to meet with you. So that's what we do. Happy to connect. Again, US-based, small, medium-sized businesses. And if you need further information or chats or scenarios, happy to talk offline during our discovery call. Thank you. Thanks, Cesar, for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Annie. Any question for Annie?
Where are you based, Annie?
In Los Angeles, so I'm in LA.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Elizabeth. It's good to
Excellent,
see
thank
you
you.
as well.
Yes, it is. It's been a while.
Excellent. So thank you very much, Annie. Let's move now to Dwight, the first person who joined, Dwight Winkler, who's now in Phoenix, Arizona. Dwight, go ahead, introduce yourself and let us know how we can help you.
Okay, well, as Cesar said, I am in Phoenix, but only recently got back here after having spent 16 plus, almost 17 months in Saudi Arabia on a consultancy with a telecom entity there that builds out telecom sites and leases back to the operators. So I was there doing budget control related consultancy, as well as overlaying procure to pay related concepts and optimization of their procure to pay and fixed asset concerns. I come with sort of a lengthy history in international trade and business. I've spent 36 years living and working abroad between Nigeria, Singapore, Indonesia, Kuwait, and now recently Saudi Arabia, as well as then having worked other markets in my global experience and other entities. It's sort of split between Fortune 500 multinational US companies, between Singapore and Nigeria and Indonesia, and then a Middle Eastern consultancy in the telecom space, where I spent 13 years in Kuwait with a team building out a third operator network in Kuwait, bringing from 2G to 5G. And then, as I say, most recently in Saudi Arabia. My core strengths are international trade financing, so I can help in small and medium-sized companies, in particular, that are trying to grow their export sales and footprint to help mitigate those export trade issues and make them more competitive. So I can bring to the party non-recourse, off-balance sheet financing programs. And then sort of a 3-in-1 package. I can also get into the contract management, sales operations, budget control area. I spent many years drafting and negotiating contracts, especially during the time I was in Kuwait with Kuwait Telecom. And then, of course, the budget control area, managing CapEx and operating expense budgets for, say, Kuwait Telecom, and trying to fix issues with this company in Saudi Arabia. So I've got a lengthy history of international business across the globe, and I'm available to work with, say, individuals and small and medium enterprises to help mitigate whatever pains they have or reservations they might have in doing export trade from the United States, primarily to points abroad. And I've not only knowledgeable about it, but I can quite rightfully claim that I've actually done it, done the transactions, completed the activity in places like Thailand, India. 200 million in project financing in India. My own bank club arrangement that I did for a Thai telecom operator to the tune of 150 million, with ultimately take up by US Exim Bank. So there's a lot of experience that I can bring to somebody who's willing to take me on board and help them out to, say, grow their international footprint and try to do it in a risk-free and situation. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Dwight, for the whole summary. And Dwight has been a very good support of us. There was like a moment in those 16 months that he got quite disappeared, but he's been very, very active again with us. So Dwight, look forward to helping you.
Yeah, I mean, I started
any
a relationship with Global Chamber back when I came back from Kuwait in 2020 in the height of COVID, and so they helped me immensely. And now that I've come back, added more connections and revived old connections. So it's been an excellent platform to help network and grow, my presence and availability. And that, so this venue that we're having here today is one of many that I participated in, and so it's the whole program is excellent.
Great, Dwight. Perfect. Thank you. I've seen a couple of people joining, so let's just move forward. If anyone wants to connect with Dwight, feel free to do it in the chat or type any questions, because I know I saw Moraya and Vilma. Let's move to, I would like to invite Ash and Adrian. I don't know how you prefer to introduce the company, but they're joined through Stellar Consulting in London. I think Adrian is in San Francisco and Ash is in Melbourne. But let us know more about Stellar Consulting. They're new members of the Global Chamber, so welcome.
Well, thank you. Adrian, do you want me to start off and then you fill in? Okay. So look, thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I'm based in Melbourne. So Stellar is basically a consulting firm that works with small, medium enterprises to increase their business value as seen from a buy-side perspective. So typical client is going to be someone with a successful business model that is got some ambitious growth plans, but they're probably experiencing some growing pains, whether that be, they're doing the hiring, a lot of hiring, they may be seeing some plateauing in profits, and are really in need of some order and some basic systems to be put in place that gives them the ability to grow in a sustainable way. So the sort of things we would work on can vary from product brand product and distribution extensions through to culture sort of issues, through to obviously looking at geographic expansion as well. So in a nutshell, I guess the sort of clients we're looking for are those that are aspirational, that have the need or have realised the need to have more control. Maybe they're looking down the track at either selling the business or doing something else with the business, and therefore want a degree of freedom. So that's at a very high level. I don't know, Adrian, do you want to maybe fill in from your perspective?
Well, the markets are just slightly different. As you can gather, I'm Californian born and bred with my British accent. Kind of on top of what Ash said, I tend to focus on larger, smaller, middle market just because of the nature of the US market, and specifically having both a small to medium owner-operator background. I've expanded businesses internationally to a number of continents, and also been an iBanker, boutique iBanker. I help a lot of these middle market businesses prepare so they're actually buyer ready years ahead of when they need to. So just that's the particular specialism. And Elizabeth, I started my commercial life actually doing physical paper letters of credit. So I actually know that pain.
Yes.
So I can see Dwight going through. So and what I do know in my local community, one of the biggest financing challenges is most people will do AR and inventory as long as it's on US soil. Very few do it internationally. So that was kind of interesting.
Thank you. And I assume you're, it's industry agnostic, but if you can give us a top 3 industries, or top 3 examples of clients that you've been helping, that would be great.
I think that'll vary. For me on the West Coast, even though I've built a tech company, I do a small amount of tech because it typically needs to be privately held as opposed to venture backed. Most of my clients are in the services, whether that's financial services, consulting, legal, accounting, and then manufacturing.
And
Ash?
for us, and for us in Australia, it's more the service-based industries. So obviously, the consulting, the legal accounting, but also some of the ancillary business services such as digital marketing and HR and so forth. So, but basically, service-based industries. Also doing a fair bit with real estate as well.
Perfect. And I remember now I have an email from Katie in London with a summary of the company, so I can use that as well for the introductions. Perfect. So thank you, Ash and Adrian. It was great to having you here. Any question for them?
Adrian, you're based in the US, in the Western, or in the UK?
I'm based in just east of San Francisco.
Okay, so in California.
Yep. So my temperature's been low hundreds where I particularly am, as opposed to San Francisco. So not quite as warm as Dwight, but certainly warmer than downtown San Francisco.
Thank you.
And Adrian, you said you know Lainey Denslow, right? Our worship.
Yeah, we're part of a community together. There's another organization that myself and Lainey belong to, which has advisors.
Good. And I know she's working with Doug on some events there in the area, so stay tuned to those.
Yeah, I'm having a cup of coffee with her in the morning.
Awesome.
I said hello.
Perfect. Excellent. So let's move to Pankaj Pramanik. Pankaj, welcome from Charlotte, right?
Yes, this is Pankaj. Before I start, so we based in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are global fund manager. Started business with our home. and we are going global. We didn't have any office yet, but we will open in Dubai, Singapore, Switzerland, and a couple of more offices. We are working with a couple of countries. US is the main country, as well as UAE, Saudi Arab, India. That's my birthplace. Now we are a US citizen, and UAE. So I think Deloitte will connect with you. So you have a more exposure, you have a global footprint, and so we are work together. And we are helping many companies, and also Global Chambers is our main connector, connecting. My biggest problem, I'm in North Carolina, Charlotte. Most of the people who live in San Francisco, Menlo Park, LA, they live near to the God. So I am in the village. So I cannot meet them, even New York. So that's why I'm going to Dubai and Switzerland to meet all the people who are running the world, top 1 to 3%. So in our business, in the financial industry, probably you know that our two sides. One side is client who are looking for FDI. Another side is investor who has a tons of money they want to invest. We are the like a catalyst or middleman or whatever, try to help. So that is our job, only foreign direct investment, but not the whole world. Without like office, you cannot manage. Yes, definitely we are hiring people. Now I am managing, I have a couple of help, but waiting for a couple of deals to go through closing. Then first one is Dubai, then slowly. And thank you so much. Global Chamber is our biggest help to connecting people around the world. And you guys are like absolutely amazing. So connect me on LinkedIn. It's on the chat window. Then we'll go for it, because we are in the financial industry. So we are very big about website, domain email, know what's a business, because financial industry, all our investors, they are really big. They only work in domain email. So definitely, please connect me, and I'll try to connect a lot of people and do it. So you are already on that area, all over the world, and you already work in India. So we will talk, and we will connect and talk offline. If you
Okay,
need
so
anything,
I'll look forward to it. My
FDI.
details are in the chat, as well as you can find me readily on LinkedIn.
Yes, we will connect.
Excellent. Thank you, Pankaj. Any question for Pankaj? And I know, Pankaj, you're already working with 2 or 3 of our members, so keep us posted on that one.
Yes, you know the Alex, you know that we are working with Alex, you are working with Murad, and they are all in California, Arizona. So probably we will working with more Global Chamber member. So we'll be your permanent member as long as I'm here. So we are extremely happy about your service.
That's great. That's great. Happy to help all the way. And so let's move forward. We have 10 minutes, and I sorry for that. We got 10 minutes, and I have Mariah and Vilma. So Mariah Barber from Invisible Strength. Welcome, Mariah, and let us know more about you. I think you're a new member as well, right?
Yes, I've been a member for the last 4 months, so still very new. As you said, my name is Mariah Barber. I share some similarities with some other folks that have shared my background. For the last 12 years, I've worked in global health. So I've worked in places like Nigeria, Latin America, Central America, and as well as the United States and Australia. I have my own business called Invisible Strengths. We are a startup, a subscription as a service for medium and large size businesses. We right now focus in Latin America, in the United States. So we provide support in recruiting candidates for jobs, and specifically candidates that have disabilities or chronic conditions. We also have an asynchronous learning platform that focuses on diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion. And so upskilling managers, as well as executive teams and leaders on how to support the future of work. really passionate about the topic. I'm based in Washington, D.C., and we've trained everyone from the Department of Labor to the tech companies in Silicon Valley. So really broad customer base there, but do a lot of consulting around looking at folks' strategic plan around diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion. Also helping with recruitment if they would like to use our mobile-based app that has a culture fit algorithm. And then separately, I also do business with supporting grant writing. Just within the last year, I've been able to secure over $300,000 in grants for my own business. And I also assist other businesses in determining what grants are right for them. That also has been having a global reach. So I've helped nonprofits based in London and also for-profit businesses based across the US. So that's the things that I'm really passionate about. As an underrepresented startup founder, I'm on the board for Start Out, which is for LGBTQ startup founders. It's a global organization, but I run the DC chapter. And I also am based in Austin, Texas. So between Austin, Texas and DC. So I'm actually a member of the Global Chambers Board in Austin, Texas. So really passionate about that and women founders, underrepresented founders, and getting them access to capital. So excited to meet everyone. I put my LinkedIn in the chat, and I appreciated hearing about everyone's expertise. Looking forward to connecting.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Mariah, finally. So you say you're in the DC area, right? Are you
Yes,
are you
that's correct.
connected to Chris? Are you connected to Chris Bennett?
No, that name's not familiar. I've connected mostly with Global Chamber members in the Austin, Texas area, but I'd love to connect.
Okay, yeah. No, so Chris is a lawyer, and he's all about underrepresented people and businesses. So definitely, and he's in the area. So I'm gonna make that connection, I'm sure. And when you say Latin America, it's like you're trying to help businesses in the region, or is it more like people to be recruited in the region?
Yes, so we help both sides. So the employers as well as the job seekers. So for the job seekers with disabilities, our platform is free. For employers, it's a subscription as a service. And that service includes our asynchronous learning platform and one-on-one trainings, and also just being able to use the dashboard and their tool with putting out job postings.
Okay, cool, perfect. I'll connect with you offline because I'm running the Latin American event and initiative in the Global Chamber. So let's connect on that. Any questions for Mariah? And if not,
you're familiar with the U.S. Commercial Service, their Global Diversity Export Initiative?
No, I can't say that I am. I would love to connect around that. I'm newer to the export or import space. Most of my products have been digital, but I'd love to learn more.
Okay, well, but that would apply to services as well. So it could be of interest. I'll put the link in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah, no, and I'm gonna send you a link. Well, although that one is in person only, but we have one of our member in Denver. She's from Colombia and she's in the DEI. She's having a conference in next week, I think. But I'm gonna put you in touch with her anyway. Perfect. So last 4 or 5 minutes, and speaking about Latin America, I would like to introduce you to Vilma Lopez. Vilma is in Florida, and she's a realtor and working in the US, Latin America, and the whole world. So Vilma, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Cesar. I don't have my camera working, so I apologize for not being on camera. But my name is Vilma Lopez. I'm a real estate broker in Florida and North Carolina, and a marketing global real estate practitioner. knowing and understanding the real estate world in the US, and most of the international buyers having interest in Florida, we encounter situations where international buyers come with the idea that the similarities of the market are the same around the world, and there are many differences. So what I do is I basically train and educate my buyers in knowing what is best for them, because one thing is wanting to invest and having the numbers, and another situation is understanding rules, regulations, and all the details and different things that go along a purchase or a sale. I assist and also support international organizations or in real estate and agents. As you may know, one of the only countries in the world that has real estate license is the US. So most of the world uses the National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics as basically their practicing way to do professional real estate business. I train internationally, and more than anything, I really want to be a source of information and support for international buyers and sellers. Thank you, Cesar. You said 5 minutes. I didn't want to extend.
No, it's fine. We have time for a question. Any question for Vilma? And Vilma, Pankaj is in North Carolina, so probably you should connect with him and see if there are any synergies there.
Yeah, it seems it's gone, but yes, it would be great.
Yes, Vilma, I put in the chat, but I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was involved in wholesaling real estate there. So if you are interested in that at all, happy to make connections there. Yeah, great to hear about what you're doing, and interesting to learn about the fact that there's only the real estate regulations, mainly within the United States. I learned something new.
Well, there are many, and people don't realize when they buy what regulations and what goes along with a purchase, that is not only government, but associations, condominiums, and towns, and a bunch of other government restrictions that sometimes the investment become a nightmare.
Sounds good. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you again, Vilma. So we have come to the end of the hour. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, I've been taking notes that I'm going to cross-check with Doug and think about other introductions for you. I'm going to be sharing the recording of the session, and I can share the chat as well. You all can save the chat right now at the bottom of the chat box. But if if something happened that you forgot about the name of someone that was in the meeting, or if someone mentioned something about the meeting, feel free to reach out to me, and I can make the connection happen. And so thanks everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to continuing working with you and to seeing you in our next meetings. Have a great one.
Thank you, Cesar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great meeting, everyone.
Good week, everyone. Bye.